Hi, I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks. Hi, welcome to Money Talks. We are in the Racine Business Center at a company called Pipes Down Under with Bill Cosban, the founder and pretty much everything of this company. Bill, before we talk about the company, let's talk about why you're here, because you were very recently living in Schaumburg, Illinois, and that's where you were operating your business out of, and all of a sudden you picked up everything lock, stock, and barrel, and you set it down in Racine. You bought a home in the Racine-area, and here you are in the Racine Business Center. Why did you come to Racine?
Tail wagging the dog. That's about what it boiled down to. Is that we were there, but we have our boat up here, a sailboat, at Racine Yacht Club, and we've been here for a couple of years at the yacht club. This is the third year, and it was so nice up here, and I didn't even realize it was this nice because I went fishing for years at the Root River, fly fishing, and I never came to this area until I bought a boat here. And the people are phenomenal. They're just great people here, and that's very important to us. So that's nice. And then we said, hey, we looked around. People said, why don't you take a look at these homes up here? And I said, okay, fine. So we did, and then
Probably bought more home for your money up here, right?
I did, and that's that. Between that and the taxes from Illinois, and everything else, this is incredible. So why are we down there?
And how did you specifically find your way into the Racine Business Center?
I called the Chamber of Commerce, and then they gave me the
RCEDC, Racine County Economic Development Corporation.
Development, yeah.
And this is a great place. This place is full of small businesses and startups and really cheap space. And so we're happy to have your company in Racine.
It's a fraction. It's a fraction of what it would cost me there. So that gives me less overhead, which means I can now build.
Yeah.
That was a stigma there in Illinois. It muffles you down. But here in Racine, it's going to go like wildfire.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this company and how it got started. As many business stories I've done over the years, it started with a personal something happening or not happening. What was it in your case?
Well, before I do, I want to thank you and your network for doing this.
Oh,
and also the viewers to be want to know what's going on.
Sure.
You know, it's great. So thank you so much for this. To get your question here about how I started.
It was started with your own swimming pool.
I started with the own swimming pool, and there was a skimmer that was leaking in a 35,000-gallon pool. This is all.
Now this is an in-ground pool, right?
In-ground pool.
And the skimmer is the little flap, but it's actually the line that goes
to the pump.
Oh wait, okay, to the pump.
Yeah, it sucks. It skims the water and takes the leaves. You see the baskets that fill up with grass and leaves and so forth.
And that, of course, is below ground, and it was leaking.
It was leaking, yes.
And so you were looking at excavation, which is what most people do.
Thousands of dollars and a lot of labor. So I had to cut. There was no other way. So I had to cut the concrete and rebars and then redo the whole thing. So while I was doing this, a pool company that I've known, I've got my parts from them and so forth, and I said, Jerry says, there's got to be a better way. And he's been there for 40 years. And he says, Bill, he says, there's no better way. There's none. I says, I don't go for that. I had a degree in aerodynamics. I worked down at NASA, down at Langley for a while, and
I think you specifically mentioned to me if we can put a man on the moon, I ought to be able to solve this problem.
We can solve this, exactly. If we made it, we can fix it,
okay,
but a better way. So that's it. So make a long story short, as the years went by, it took me about 2-3 years to do it because the first year was a complete failure, so I started all over again. And it went from 2002 all the way up to 2005. It started between 2005 and 2007. I started selling the kits.
So you started working on a way to fix swimming pool piping.
Yes.
Without digging up the ground.
Exactly.
Why don't you just tell us what the concept is.
Okay.
We don't need to know like how to do it, by
This is say the pipe. This is the fitting of the pipe that's actually in your pool. This is actually like a main drain in the pool, in the bottom of the pool.
All right.
This fitting fits in there, screws in there like that. See? So that's what you find underneath the pool, or under the skimmer and what have you. It depends upon all the units they have.
All right.
So then, these pipes that are existing pipes crack. They shift, the ground shifts, the frost line, earthquakes, or people in California call, and on and on. So many reasons why. So when that does crack, we would send a liner through, and we just, it was pressurized liner, we cut these sections off, and from there...
How do you push it through?
Okay, what happens, these are pressurized. So if you push it, the pushing action gets around it, and these helix, say coils, like slinkies, what they do is they prevent it from collapsing, you see, and it's a better flow.
So you're replacing this pipe with actually a new inner sort of pipe?
Yes, the existing pipe is now an exoskeleton. It protects the liner.
Okay.
So when these are sealed, put them in, you're all set. You have a termination kit that comes. If we cut these off, you cut them off, or whoever does.
Now, you mentioned that you have actually had people repair hotel swimming pools while people are still swimming.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yes, that was in United Kingdom.
There's no draining of pools in this?
No, you don't have to. But if you can, it's always better. We have underwater epoxy we ask them, is it going to be underwater or above? Like the skimmer, you can drop the water down, water level down. Or when you're getting ready to paint and repair or do something, they say, let's do it now.
Okay.
And that's what they do.
So somebody who knows what they're doing, how long of a repair job is that?
It depends. It can be 10, 15 minutes to put the whole thing in.
Really?
Or it could take 5, 6 hours, depending upon what's underneath the earth, what they're going to find. But what we want them to do is the lower, get away from the concrete if you can, and less 90s, it'll go in very rapidly.
Okay. Who will typically install these? Because you and I were talking before the show. To me, if I've got enough money to own an in-ground pool, I don't want to futz around with doing it. I just want to hire somebody to repair it for me, buy your kit, and then have somebody install it. So who will be the installers of your kits?
We do have independent installers, the certified installers, and they're throughout the United States and Europe and Canada. We have quite a few up there. Okay. But there are places and territories where there are no installers. So we have a consumer kit or a homeowner's kit that they can actually, it's so simple, they just have to do it right, that's all. It's a very simple procedure.
Could they hire a plumber?
They can hire a plumber. If they don't want to do it, as you stated, you want to be there with your martini, that's fine.
Right.
Hire the plumber and
gin martini, very dry.
Yes, olives too. And actually, you can have a plumber or anybody, maintenance, and your pool company who really takes care of your pool.
Now, obviously, this is still a young company, and you're just kind of at the stage of now you have a place for this is you're going to do assembly here in Racine. What's the employment potential of this company? Where will the parts for your kits come from?
Exactly. The first important thing is what I touched on before, is that the overhead is so much lower. We have so many incredible people that work in here at the Racine Business Center, which is run by Art Montgomery, good man. And we have a BEM CNC guys, we have machinists here, we have welders.
So really, you're going to use some
people
definitely. Internal to the building?
I don't outsource, I insource. I would go right from here and then find anybody I want here and then go from here to other parts of Racine.
And of course the Racine area is full of really excellent machine shops and
Incredible.
all kinds of, you can get all kinds of work done around here.
Exactly. The other good thing about that is it keeps the overhead low and keeps my time from trying to call and explain something when I can just get my car, go right downstairs and say you have it, low shipping and so forth, it comes right up.
What about assemblers?
Yes.
What's your projection for the next year, 2 years, or 3 years?
I lost my assemblers, they were my sons. They're in Illinois.
You
see, one's a cop and one works for Bank of America. So I said, David can't have. I know, I understand. So my wife's helping me and gives me a lot of support. But then I need at least a couple more people right off the bat to assemble. We need to assemble, as you can see, we have a lot of stuff here.
And you're going to ship right from here too, right?
Yes, we do
so
shipping,
going to be
UPS.
Some of that kind of thing?
That's another good point about SBC here, Racine Business Center, or RBC, is that they have DHL, FedEx, UPS come right here and just ship out and also get the stuff in from maybe within a state or so.
If this is, if you're successful in marketing this, you have a couple things going for you. You're shipping to, I'm assuming, around the world. You have
Yes.
lots of patents protecting this, both here
14.
and in Europe. So you can offset the seasonality somewhat. You know, when we're in summer, they're in winter, and vice
Exactly.
versa in the southern hemisphere. You also mentioned like YMCA's and hotels, and you made a really good point earlier about, you know, a hotel doesn't ever want to say our pool is out of order.
Oh,
ever,
no.
ever.
Oh, they'll
So-
never.
So that should
Yeah.
kind of even out some of the possible cyclical nature of the business, right?
Yes, oh, definitely, yes. In fact, a lot of them are like indoor pools. They're the worst because they can't get any machinery to dig anything.
Right, right.
We've had one in YMCA that they called and they said, we're doing the, putting in a new pipe, we want to put your liner in the pipe. And I said, well, okay, fine. Do you want to wait? He says, no, we want to put it in because this is a 150,000-pound old decking of like marble and what have you. They didn't want to break it up anymore, so we put it in.
Well, we're getting near the end, and I know you would love to talk about the fact that you think there are lots of other applications for
Yes,
this that you have devised in industry and protecting electrical lines,
Electrical,
computer lines, and things like that. That's a whole other
and sewer,
perhaps-
laterals too.
Yeah, perhaps a whole different chapter. For
Yes.
now, it's called Pipes Down Under, and it's for swimming pools. Roughly, just what's a rough cost of your kit?
For consumers, it's about from $200 up to about $800.
That's not bad.
And it depends. That's up to 50 feet.
And
Now-
that's avoiding the cost of excavation and all of those
Yes,
things.
it depends. It depends upon
In most cases.
the size of the liners.
Okay.
You know, up
Yeah.
to 6-inch pipe. We're talking about
Okay.
big commercial now for sewers and laterals.
And how can people learn more about your company? You have a website?
Yes, we have it. We're rebuilding the
The website
website.
is
Is pipesdownunder.com,
Mhm.
and they can call it pipesdownunder@att.net to send anything,
Okay.
and we
And we'll share a
respond.
phone number as well. for
Sure,
the company.
it's 847.
Okay, we'll
sorry, you're
we'll superimpose that on screen.
Oh,
later.
that's excellent. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I see.
So at least
Good.
I think our producer Scott Anderson can do that.
Yeah.
We've been with Bill Cosban, the founder and guest CEO and everything else of Pipes Down Under. New to Racine, Wisconsin at the Racine Business Center. I'm Michael Burke. Thanks for watching.